Now we're going to go through how to recover from adrenal fatigue. 3 keys that you need to know to recover. We know that there are some of the common mistakes to adrenal fatigue, and we learned about some facts already. So now it's time to learn about the right way to recover.
Key number one is to learn from a survivor. You know, if you don't know something, how are you going to fix what's wrong? I was a survivor and I went through this myself. Knowledge is power, and you need to know what's going on because no one's going to care for your body more than yourself. So, what's better way to learn this convoluted syndrome than from someone who's gone through it yourself? I went through adrenal fatigue personally. I've gone through the ups and downs of crashes and recovery. I know how the journey works. And most of all, I've documented this meticulously in a process that allowed me to share with people from around the world. I've got my website, drlam.com, is to educate people from around the world. It's free. It has thousands of pages and articles of what I've written and discovered. I believe that education is so important to healing that I really need to share, and that's one of the purpose why we're doing this webinar here. I wrote 3 books on adrenal fatigue, including the reference textbook. I share my knowledge on social media.
We are constantly learning every day as well, learning from research and learning from the adrenal fatigue survivors that we coach. We coach sufferers of adrenal fatigue from all over the world by telephone, and we do this work because no one else in the world truly understands. I'm sure you've had this experience before where you go to a doctor and you say, I think I have adrenal fatigue, and they look at you like you're crazy and they don't know what adrenal fatigue is, or they don't believe in it. Unfortunately, adrenal fatigue is not an established medical diagnosis. It isn't being taught in medical school at this moment, and doctors don't know what it is.
Yeah, I was skeptical just like them until it happened to me. I was not taught about adrenal issues. We were taught about Addison's disease. We were talking about all the pathology, but not a weakness in the adrenal system when it is in the middle. That is beyond the continuum that we understand from a conventional perspective. I know what you're going through because I went through this myself. I know what it's like to be couch bound. I know what it's like to not able to even kind of go to the bathroom at one time, without assistance. I've helped thousands of people from around the world going through this experience and help them to recover. I've experimented on myself in order to find the ultimate solution to this problem.
So the key for you is to learn from a survivor, learn from someone who's been through the adrenal fatigue, because they're the best person that can really help you. And that moves us to the key number 2, which is trying to understand the whispers of your body. Now that you know what's going on, the next step is actually to apply that to yourself. Each of you have unique bodies and you're all in different stages of recovery. We need to be able to take that knowledge and information that you've learned and be able to apply it to yourself. How do we do that? It's by teaching you to understand the whispers of your body.
Well, understanding the whispers has been a lost art in modern medicine. Now, remember that Western medicine is only about 200 years old. And while it has contributed much to medical knowledge, it does not really have a monopoly of the world's combined medical knowledge. In fact, people have been healing themselves for 5,000 years without lab, MRIs and CT scans until the last 100 years. So how did the physicians of the old times do it? Well, it's simple. They listen to the body. Let's take a look at Debbie, one of our clients who presented with these symptoms such as food sensitivities, allergies, heart throbbing for no apparent reasons, blood pressure instability, and excessive fatigue.
I have had thyroid, adrenal, hormonal issues for years. I've seen numerous physicians, healthcare professionals, nutritionists. I've even self-treated, basically doing my own research and getting supplements and looking at the latest thing to help the next symptom that I had or the next one that popped up. And that's pretty much how I did it all these years until about 2005. Hurricane Katrina struck and our world completely turned upside down. After losing everything and making multiple moves, trying to figure out where we were going and where we were going to basically start over again. Once we got settled, I pretty much had what I know now was a major adrenal crash. And I had a hard time functioning. I was an exhausted, emotional mess. My eyelashes were falling out, my hair was falling out, my eyes were sunken. I started developing food sensitivities and just horrible allergy and sinus problems. I began having heart palpitations. My blood pressure shot up, which that's the first time that's ever happened. And I started having kind of what I can only describe as these waves of exhaustion that would just kind of come over me at any given time. And it was a pretty scary time.
So does that sound familiar to you? That is Debbie's story. By going through our telephone-based nutritional coaching program, we were able to teach Debbie how to listen to her body and understand her symptoms and their effects on her body specifically. And then she chose a right plan to help the natural healing process. We want you to have what Debbie found, so listen to what she has said.
I honestly can't tell you how dramatically it has changed my life. Now, when a situation comes up that is a potentially stressful situation that could affect my health, I've learned how to recognize the symptoms and kind of take a step back, readjust what I'm doing before I get into this full-blown adrenal crash thing, because I'll tell you, those are no fun. And it's really helped me to kind of notice these symptoms and notice these things before they become a big problem.
It's just so great to hear from her. It is vital for you to identify the signals your body is sending you so that you can stop the downward spiral before it's too late. And only you can truly understand because it is your body. Preventing an adrenal crash is so key for recovery as it can really ruin and incapacitate your life and not being able to do anything. So that's why we like to teach you to really listen to what your body is telling you. Sometimes the body signals are very loud and clear. For example, fever can really point to an infection going on. Redness and swelling usually means there's some form of inflammation. And you have lab tests that are very cut and dry, like elevated A1C is diabetes. But sometimes the body signals are just whispers, and you have to listen really closely. The body does behave logically, but sometimes the symptoms all get convoluted and they all overlap on each other. And that's why you need a practitioner to truly understand what is going on in your body.
So here are some examples of the whispers that the body sends to us when you're in adrenal fatigue. Being just irritable for no reason, inability to handle stressful situations, difficulty sleeping, falling asleep, or falling asleep after a few hours, then you wake up for no apparent reason and are able to fall back asleep. Brain fog or foggy thinking is very common. Inability to handle excessive exercise or having a reduced libido for no apparent reason. Inability to take in simple carbohydrate, pastas and things like this. Having food comas, having cold hands and feet, dizziness. So when you look at all these symptoms, they don't really point to one specific thing by themselves. But if you look at it collectively, it's really the body painting a picture that it is in trouble. It is tired. It is strained. And it wants something to be done.
So see what else our clients have said about understanding the whispers of the body and learning from a survivor.
So Dr. Lamb's program did in fact restore some balance to my body again. It greatly reduced the amount of times I would wake up in the middle of the night with a stressful dream and a racing heart rate. Sometimes it would just flow into a full panic attack. I would just wake up and my heart would just pound out of my chest. So I had these things I just didn't understand, and with what I had done with their plan, my body began to stabilize. I slept better and I had better energy. So that was fantastic.
I first noticed at the end of 2 weeks a little bit of improvement, and I thought, no, this can't last. I was having severe crashes approximately every 2 weeks, which were a lot of the symptoms that I had previously, only these were about 50% worse. So I was in a bad way. So after a couple of months, or probably a little bit less, I noticed that I was coming up in levels I was getting a little bit better. And I thought, no, just wait. Hopefully this will last. And guess what? It's been now 7-8 months I've been on Dr. Lamb's program, and I continue to gradually improve. And I can't tell you how absolutely thrilled I am.
The not knowing what is wrong with you is got to be the scariest thing. It is for me. I can handle whatever I'm going through, but it's the not knowing that about does me in, which is major stress on emotionally, which was just breaking down my adrenals even more. So anyway, I emailed Dr. Lamb, and he sent me a voice email back, and I told him about what was going on, and he was so calm and said, this is nothing new for us.
It's so great to hear from our clients that they have been empowered to truly understand the whispers of their body and learn to recover from it. Our mission is to let people around the world know that they're not alone, and that comes to our key number 3, which is to take a holistic approach. You are not alone in your recovery journey, and you have a dedicated team that could help and guide you every step of the way. We take a holistic approach, we answer all questions, and we give very, very specific instructions on every little detail in life, all by telephone. We've seen a lot of people try to self-navigate. They go on the internet, they see one thing, they hear from their friends, oh, this is good, and they try to take different things to help themselves, but they always call back asking for help. Learning from a survivor, understanding the whispers of your body, these are stepping stones to a full recovery and for you to take a holistic approach.